Oh wait. Didn't copy this at all. Yeah. All right. So welcome to the Shopify, Magento 2 product import. So we're going to do a little workshop here. Who doesn't have a Magento 2 installation ready on his laptop? Okay, get out now. It's not that bad if you don't. Just try to bear with me. If I'm going too fast, just let me know. If you have questions, do it. We're here to learn. Our end goal is to learn something, not to actually import products. So if you don't make it on time, not a problem as long as you've learned something. So a little bit about me. I'm Peter Jaap Blaakmeer. As you might know, Jaap is not my last name. I'm on Twitter at Peter Jaap. This is my amazing team. We work from Groningen in the north of the Netherlands. We're a small company. We work for a small amount of clients, but we do a lot of cool stuff for them. So, Magento 2 product import. What are the prerequisites? I think I spelled that right. Right? Yes. Hope so. Okay, thanks. So you need a working Magento 2 vanilla installation. Of course, if you don't have a vanilla one laying around, you can use any project. Just don't blame me when things go poof. We have the FireGento Fast Simple Import 2 module that we're going to need, the FireGento Extended Import 2, which is a nice to have, and the Magento or the MageRun 2 code generator, which is also a nice to have, and we need time, which probably we won't have enough of, but we'll see. So you can get these here. These are some quick links. These are just referred to the GitHub, except for the third link that goes to the MageRun downloadable executable, the FAR file. So I'll just give you some time to look these up, because we're going to need them. Delish? Look them up. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. At least someone's paying attention. Right, so who's going to actually code along with me? So I can, let's see if nobody? Yeah, okay. So you got the extensions? You got these links? So these are these. And you might want to get, or at least open this page, the Fast Import 2 demo as well, because we're going to copy some code from there. As I said, this was going to be a copy-paste workshop, so. As you'll notice, I hate actually coding for stuff that already exists, so we're going to use code generators and some boilerplate code that's already there, and then hook something up, because this is what we're going to do today is the boring part of the import implementation. The actual exciting stuff is writing your own logic to get your products into a PHP array to actually be able to import this, and this is just a framework to accommodate all of that. So am I good to go, or do I have to wait for somebody? Great, everybody's happy, great. So we're gonna open up the Magento 2 code base here. As you'll see, I only have a vanilla installation. There's nothing in code. We've got it running here. So we're gonna try to import some products. I've already got the sample products in here, but we want to add some more. So how do we go about this? First, we're going to install the actual extensions that are needed, such as the fast simple import 2. So we're going to use that using Composer. Hope you all are familiar with Composer and have it running. Otherwise, you can just git clone the repository into your app code folder and name it Elgentos / fast simple import 2 as a folder. Hope the Wi-Fi will hold. We're going to leave the extended import 2 at first, but this is a nice little. Okay, so what the fast simple importer actually does is leverage Mage import export module to create a wrapper to be able to push just simple PHP arrays to fast simple import, which will then convert it to a CSV format as you would have uploaded using the Mage import export functionality. So you don't have to bother with all of that. It's actually a port from AVS fast simple import, which we use a lot for Magento 1 projects. Also just a wrapper for the import export. You put PHP array data into it and then it transforms it to a CSV, which it will internally process. So this extension is just a wrapper to do that. The extended import 2 extends the CSV import format and will allow you to do a little bit more, mainly, and the main plugin here is the create missing attribute option plugin, which will generate missing attribute options. So if you haven't defined the color red yet, this will create the color red for you. There's also a validator plugin which will validate the CSV before actually sending it to AVS or the Elgentos fast simple import 2. So you won't have to wait all the way until it actually queued all the products, and then it will try to import, and then it will say, oh, sorry, couldn't import, we roll back everything, which in some cases could take an hour, and then you'll spend an hour waiting for nothing. So this one's installed, and we're gonna do this one as well. Add repository to your Composer file. It's not in there. It's not in the packages yet, I think. Maybe it's in packages by now. Where is it? Nope. Alright, so just added it through Composer with this command. It's on the GitHub page. And then Composer require it. We're using the dev master. I don't think he tagged it yet. Nope. Yeah, and you could install this one as well, but we're just going to copy a little bit of code from here and not that much, so it's probably easier just to copy it from GitHub when we get there. So obviously it's still not in code because we installed it using Composer, so it's in vendor somewhere. Let's see if we can find it, Elgentos. So I'm just going to throw in some little bits, tips and tricks here for Magento 2 as well, or just general PHP Storm tips and tricks. What I like to do is ignore all the folders in my cache, and mark directory as excluded. I'll cancel the exclusion. Now it starts indexing. Indexing sometimes takes a lot of time, so I usually mark it as excluded here, so it doesn't need to index all those files which we're never going to use. Same goes for vendor. If you do this and then where is it? Oh yeah, you can only do it for already excluded. But if you exclude the entire vendor there, that's not really useful because you're probably gonna need some stuff that's in there. So I usually first exclude everything that's in it and then pick the ones I'm actually probably gonna need, such as Send Framework, Symfony, the PSR, Monologue, Magento itself, and Elgentos. And if at one point I start using PHP CS, for example, I'll cancel the exclusion for this one. So this will speed up working with PHP Storm in Magento 2 considerably, also with Magento 1, obviously. Let's see how far this one is. Okay, so this one is also installed. Now we need to enable them. Not that one. And we need to, oh no, this is the demo. We don't need that one. We do need this one. And this one. Let's enable them. And then we're gonna need to run setup upgrade. Well, no modules will change. Okay. All right, so please rerun Magento compile command. In this case, it's not necessary. Unless you have a new installation, then it's probably wise to run the setup di compile multi-tenant call first, just to create the factories and the proxies that aren't generated on runtime when you're in developer mode. So please make sure you're in developer mode. So the commands aren't in my muscle memory yet, so let's see where I'm at. Deploy mode show. I'm in developer mode. So otherwise, if you're not in developer mode, run bin Magento deploy mode set developer, and then you're in developer mode. Did I do that? Yeah, I was the developer, I know. So now we have the two extensions in there, so let's check whether they're actually available. Dev module list, so you'll see I'll use Madron 2 here because I'm not used to the bin Magento one yet. Maybe I'll never be. I don't know. So we have fast simple import here and Magento extended import. So if you copied it by hand and you wanted to enable it, please mark that it's called Magento fast simple import and not fast simple import 2 like the repository is called. I don't know why, but that caught me a couple of times. So now we have the two extensions installed. So we have the extension that we're going to need in place. So now we're actually going to need to build an extension that leverages it to import the products. So for this, we're going to use the Madron code generator, which is still in alpha. So please use it, test it, and send some PRs to or issues at the GitHub. This will, I don't know who of you has used code generation for Magento 2? No one? Okay, so then you're gonna love this. You have the Madron 2 code generator. We've also got Pestle from Storm, and you've got several in Magento and some live templates available in Magento as well, or in P3 Storm, sorry. These are tools along with Storm Pestle, which is pretty complete by now. He's creating more and more code generations by now. So who of you have used Magento with Magento 1 to create modules? Yeah, so you all know this functionality. Magento, create module, and then you get this. This is basically a code generator. So back in the days when we didn't have this, we needed to type out all the thingies and create an app code community, create the package, create the config XML. A lot of typing for nothing because it's just the same thing all over again. So you started copying at one point and then you created a base module. And so we've moved beyond that. We're now at code generation. So Pestle is one tool that you can use to create a module. I haven't come around to looking into it very much because I generally just use the Madron 2 code generator. It's a separate FAR. You can download it at the elgentos.nl/mm16es free link. 16es free. It'll just download the FAR file for you, and then you can place it somewhere you'd like. So if you run it, it's just the same old Madron 2, that is, except for the dev part. There are some new commands here, especially the dev console, which is the experimental one. So we're going to use code generator and then dev console, which will give us a REPL interface if it starts. Yeah. So it's a Magento 2.0.2. I have to update, yes. But this will give you an interactive shell to do stuff. So if you type help, you'll see all the commands that are available. And in this case, we'd like to make an extension. We're going to do some DI to add a console command to actually start the import. And that's about it. So let's start with make module. And it asks for a module name. So let's call it mm16es import. Now we have a new module called mm16es import. So you'll see here. It's not really readable that good, but it's now in the namespace of the module itself. So every command you do now is applied to the extension. So you'll see somewhere above, let's see where it is. I think it's called something use. Oh yeah, it's just called module. The module command, where here, calls a command in the current context. So the context is, in this case, our new MM16ES import extension. So if we go back to PHP Storm, you'll see that this extension is added. It has a registration.php, which has been generated. And you'll have a module.xml file that has been generated. So nothing fancy, just a boilerplate extension right there. So now we're going to use di to create a console command for bin Magento. So if you look at the list, you'll see make config di creates a new di XML file. Well, that sounds reasonable. Let's try that. Now we get a di XML. It's just an empty di XML, but it will get the right XSD file for our namespace validation, for XML validation. And now we can add stuff to it. So before we continue, we have to look at how the extension actually works. So we look at the demo one. You'll see it has di XML, in which several commands are available. For this workshop, I'm only focusing on the simple import command. The other one is the delete product all, because that will give us an option to roll back what we've done so far. There are other options available for the configurables, for the bundles, the multi-selects, customer category, also for export of products, orders, and customers. So this is all already in the demo one, and you can see how it works right there. If we open up the commands, you'll see an abstract export command, abstract import command, and then the different entities, of which the product is the one we're going to look at, and then we're going to use the import simple to just import some simple products. So what do we have here? This is if you're used to the Symfony console component, which is used for and Major and bin Magento, you'll find this recognizable. We have a public function delete option that's added. The configure one is part of the Symfony interface for console commands, in which we use to set the name of the command and set the description. And we're going to get the entities here. And this will actually create a random PHP array with some random product data, return it, and then the fast simple import extension will process that into a CSV file, which will be fed to Mage import export, and thus importing the products. So we need to create a console command. So if we go back here, and we actually have a command for this, it's called make command, and it just creates a CLI command. So if I run this, it'll ask for a class path. If you look in this structure, you'll see console/command. That is the default path. So that's always prepended in front of an event by the Mage run code generator. So if we want to make the product import simple command, I'll just insert product import simple. Other slash product import simple. Oh no, wait, I had to add this one. Can you read this, or do I have to pump up the font size a bit?
No, we can read it.
Yeah, in the back as well? Yeah, okay. So when I hit enter, the console command is generated. So it's here in console command product import simple command. This extends the normal command, which is the Symfony command console component class. And you'll see here, so this is still experimental about the code generator. The layout is a little bit borked, so we're going to reformat the code. So now we get some nice, like this, no white space between, you probably remember that from Magento 1. So now we have a console command, which will be added to the command list using di. The item name will be mm16es import products import simple, which is a long, so we'll just use import simple. Change that a little bit, and then refers to our class, which is in the mm16es vendor import package name console command directory, and the product import simple command. So if we open up a new terminal and go to my thingy, and then open up bin Magento, it should. Yeah, so you'll see it's available here now. MM16ES import. So it doesn't do anything yet, but we still need to add the delete as well, which is delete all. So we're gonna make command product delete all, delete all. Now we have the second one. Now it adds it nicely. Delete all. Now we have the two commands. So now we're going to steal some code, because we could obviously just copy this and it will work, but I wanted to show you how you get there. So if we look here, you'll see it will extend the abstract import command, which is here. So we're going to need to create that one as well. So we could just use make command again, abstract, what is it called? Import, abstract import, because it will append a command automatically. Now it will also put it here. We obviously don't need it here because it's an abstract command, and the other two will extend it. So remove that one. Then we'll have this one here, which is a nice empty abstract command. But we actually want to have all of this stuff. So we're going to add it here. Right, there's 4. There's one that isn't used. Okay. And we're lazy. We're just going to copy the whole thing. Right. So what does it do? If we open up, where's my... So if you open up structure, which is command F12, you'll see that it has an array to attribute function, execute function, which is part of Symfony. This is a part of the interface. Get entities, which is used by the fast simple import to get the PHP array with the products in it. Behavior, which is append, delete, or new, which will either append data to the existing products, delete products, or only add new products, and thus skip the already existing ones. Entity code for the catalog product, category, customer entities. After finish import, we'll do some cleaning up, and the object manager, obviously, which you should never use. Thank you, Telesh. Okay, so now we created the abstract import command, and now we have to extend the import simple commands to the abstract import command. So we're going to use it. Use mm16es import console. Look, also, yep, well, not entirely, but console command abstract import command. It must be declared abstract. So it is abstract, and the other problem is implement method get entities. I thought we had it. No, it's not implemented because we're going to implement it in the import simple command, because the other one's just an abstract. So that's also a bit of code we're just going to copy. Open up the import simple. So here we've already imported that one. We also extended it. So now we can just copy everything that's inside it. It's not that much. And now PHP Storm will be happy with me and not give a warning because I implemented get entities. So here we have the delete option, which will delete an option from an attribute, which is the opposite of the extended import to, which adds an option. So this is only used for an example in here that will delete the color option, but we can just remove that as well because we're not going to need it. Just strip out that function. Right, so that leaves us with the configure command, and this is the name of the configure command, so I'll just make it a bit more like we used to. mm16es import simple. This will import simple products. Here we'll set the behavior, which is behavior add update, which is the append behavior. and I see it has an import class which is undefined, which is the Magento import export model import class. So the core class of Magento 2. Let's put it there. Now I can click on it and you'll see that we've got these behaviors where it will append data. Oh yeah, append is only for existing products. Add update is adding new products and updating existing products. Replacing is replacing the entire product. Deleting is deleting it, and you can define a custom behavior with a callback function that does whatever you want. Which is great, by the way, if you're gonna build importers that run, for example, every day. You need some custom code to check whether a product needs to be updated using a field that comes from your API or whatever. So, in this case, we're just going to use the behavior add update. Entity code is a catalog product because we're importing products. So this is the import simple command. Now we're just going to do the delete all command as well, because we like to be able to delete everything after we screwed up. So I'm going to replace this and call it mm16es. Products delete all. Well, we had it. Import. So delete product, behavior delete, entity code catalog product, and then it will get the entities and it will just grab the product factory, get the entire collection for each through it, which isn't really a nice way to do it, but okay. And then add an SKU to the data array, return it, and then the import functionality will run through all the SKUs and delete them. Probably missed import here again. I see it complaining about not having import. So I'm going to add the import class there as well. And we're going to use the abstract import command here because it needs all the other functionalities, which I already defined here. Copy it here. All right, so now we've got delete all and import simple implemented. If we go back to image2a and then run bin Magento here and look for mm16es, you'll see that the weird name we just had with the namespace, module namespace in it, is now gone because we configured the name to use in the configure command for the console command here. So you'll see these names coming up instead of the mm16es import semicolon, semicolon, and then the command name we just saw. So if we run this one now, let's find out what happens. It should delete all my sample products. Maybe I have to compile again. I don't think so. No. So import started, fetching all my SKUs now from the for each loop, filling it into a data array, feeding it back to major import export, or feeding it back to fast simple import, which will then feed it back to major import export. So begin data validation, which is nice, but it does it at the end. So that's why the other extension is added, so it will validate before the import actually started. Because here it says import started, and then it will begin data validation, which at one point is actually too late, especially if you have tons of products that are being imported and the import will take an hour. You'll just find out after an hour that you have one duplicate SKU or whatever. So validation is complete. We check 2046 rows, and then it will import with delete behavior, and then eventually it will probably have deleted all my 2046 products. And I broke it. The file generation there isn't. So I never do this on production, but just have to make it work. No, force it. Yeah, it's already my owner. Oh no, it's a daemon owner. Okay. I think Miguel is cringing in his seat right now. So the setup version is not specified, which means I have to run setup upgrade. It should open up now. Nope, generation again. I have to do something about my file system. setup version is not specified. It is. Why is it complaining? Let's see what's happening here. Okay. Clear cache. Never run into this error before. Let's clear cache first. So why would the setup version not be specified? It is, because it's right here. Try again. Nope. Anybody have an idea?
It is a workshop.
Oh, we're a community after all.
Yeah. We are a community.
Stack Exchange to the rescue. Sorry?
Sorry, I was just tweeting about a few errors.
It is a friend.
It's probably something really dumb. No, I ran this. Well, not this one, but okay. But I'm not using static content, so this. Did the setup upgrade?
Can I see the error one sec? Can you switch back to...
To what?
Okay, so setup version for modules.
Setup version for modules not specified. But it is specified. Yeah. Maybe I have to actually really DI compile it.
No.
Set up DI compile. No, it's. No, you don't think so? I have to recompile it?
Well, if you're a developer mode, you shouldn't have to recompile it.
No. Well, why is it telling me it's not specified and then.
Typo somewhere?
I bet you couldn't read the configuration file. That might be an option as well. Generally use Docker for this, but I couldn't get it to work. I heard more people have problems with that.
That's my experience.
Okay, so it couldn't read the config.xml because it didn't have the correct rights, but it's not. Because I used the code generation tool. Yeah. Okay, so the products are gone. Woo. Now we have to add new ones. So let's go to the import simple command. There is a presentation mode in. I always, at the end of my presentation, I'm like, oh yeah, there's this presentation mode in PHP Storm. All right, so this uses the object manager to get the attribute option management interface, and then it can create stuff. It doesn't do anything with it here, but you can do it. For now, it will create exactly one product. Let's make it 10. The SKU will be MM16ES. And let's create a nice random number. Right, it's in default. This is a MM16ES test product. And all right, let's add some more randomness to it. Prices between 30 and 37. Or EAN, this is a pretty short EAN, whatever. All right, so these are all defaults. You can set them if you want, you don't have to. So now it will just create 10 random entities for me and will return the data to the fast simple importer, which will then return it to the Mage import export, turn it into CSV, process it, and then hopefully they will be imported. So let's try. To remember these commands. Import simple. Bin Magento MM16ES import simple. Import started, and an error. Modulo by 0. Not the fancy little thingy I tried to do. Okay, too bad. A little bit less random. Nope. Oh yeah. So now it has 10 imported entities, which are obviously not in the front end because we didn't attach it to a category yet. I have to log in somewhere. Oh, no, it's an auto-generated admin path. I think there's a function in there for in bin Magento. This is what you get with Magento 2 installations you put everywhere. Look, info admin URI to the rescue. Or a random admin URI. Thank you, Magento. Okay, let's create file generation. I should just put this in a cron job. Oh. Sudo. You know the XKCD for sudo? Get me a T. No, sudo get me a T. Okay. Hope this second hurdle. I'm already firing up the. Yep. Oh wait, it's in made run. I would just wish there was a command to copy the command when when grep only returns you 1. That would be nice. I did pull requests from major and they don't accept my. For some reason they don't accept my pull requests. Magento has gotten so secure over the last few iterations.
1, 2, 3. Yes.
Yes. Thank you, security researcher. By the way, did you find a USB stick when you came in?
No.
Talesh was giving a security talk here last year, and somebody left a USB key up front, and they came walking in like, "Hey, Talesh, could you put this into your laptop and see whose USB key this is?" And Talesh was like, "No." Ooh. Exciting. Almost there. This is hard stuff, 10 products. Woo! So now we have imported 10 products, and it's actually pretty fast. Let's say we try 100 products. And where is it? Time. Maybe we'll get 110, maybe we'll get 106. Because the SKU is random. Okay. It already exists. The URL key. Yeah. So as you'll see, the Magento 2 also has a little bit more validation, data validation than Magento 1 has. Magento 1 would just import it like, duplicate URL keys, no problem. We'll give you a core URL rewrite table of 1 million rows in 2 years. So we can add that as well. URL key is the SKU. Well, I can't use this one, but this is a new URL key. Oh, forgot the comma. Thank you, PHP Store. So long did Magento 1 take for 100 products? That was like, I don't know, a minute or something. We did it here in 8.3 seconds, and that was with starting the actual import. So I'm guessing, we can do 200 and see what happens, and then we can see the difference, and then see how long it actually takes to import the actual products. Oh, it says here, sorry, it just says here, 3.95 seconds to import 100 products. So if you're gonna, we have a client, well, it's now, obviously with a larger number you get more collisions. But we have a client in which we import about 80,000 products a day. So that in Magento 1, we do it on a night and it takes us about 4 hours. We did a test case with Magento 2 using this, and it would cost us about 12 minutes. So that was, that's a pretty nice improvement. And it was surprisingly easy to turn it into a command like this, because all we needed to copy over was the get entities function, which we already had because we used AVS Fast Simple Importer for that project in Magento 1. So we just copy paste, we generalized that to a library file and put that in here. Had the get entities call the auto-loaded library, and it will fetch the products, and it imported it for us in 12 minutes. And it was amazing how fast Magento 2 will allow you to do stuff like that. So that's about it, what I had to tell. I think I have a slide for the last one. Oh no, forgot this one. Ah. This is actually how a sprinkler works on the inside. You know, I was pretty amazed by this one. Yeah. So, questions? That was pretty clear, or not at all. That's also yeah.
You have to always use Jet Manager in console, or you can use dependency injection like in.
Yeah, you can use. You should use dependency injection always. So also for creating console commands, just use. It's just a simple regular Magento command, as you'll see here. Well, there's no construct in here. There's a construct in the abstract one, I think. Yeah, so you'll see the object manager being DI'd here, but you can DI everything into your abstract command and then use it everywhere. So, think here. So this was just, I think this is the demo Elias wrote, so I think he just did it to do a quick example. But obviously this isn't the way to do it. This should be DI'd like this. Remove it from the get entities. Go to abstract, import a command. Add it here. Use an intent. Oh, why can't I intend this? Because the class is not defined here. Get this here, move this to the use in the abstract. And then we can remove all of this. And product attribute option management. Yeah. Manager would be a better name. And then do this. And then we'll have it available in import simple, like everything else. So just DI your way through it. I'm just trying to show you a little trick, so you don't have to type all of this. It doesn't seem to work. Nope, can't find it. Ah, yeah, here we go. So if you put up a fully qualified namespace, an FQN, like this in PHP Storm, and you want to move it to the use, like you should, just to create a bit more overview in your class of what is being used in the class itself. You can use intents, which is Alt-Enter on MacBook, and you get a block like this. And then you have import class. When you hit that intent, it will fold back the FQN to the last part of the class name, and it will put it into your use statements here at the top. So that's an easy way to import your FQNs. Also, Magento has a lot of intents that you can use in surprisingly many places. So try that functionality out in PHP Storm. It's Alt-Enter. You can do it in a lot of places. Like if I go, well, I don't have a good example here, but let's say you have a translate tag and you have a translate and then the CSV file in there. If you do an intent of the CSV file, Magicenter will give you an option to create that CSV file and stuff like that. So it's pretty useful. Yeah. Any more questions? All right, thank you for your attention. Hope you liked it. I'm going to take this.